The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Thursday, the 20th day of July, 2023. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman. He's Larry Marshall Jr., and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Larry, I got a few people saying, yo, I haven't seen Larry in a while. I said, yeah, he hasn't been since June, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And the month of July, I took her. I mean, been sick twice. Just had to take care of myself and sort things out. But I've got a spider bite that's starting to grow, and I said that's happened now. So
Spider bite. Oh,
it comes in threes. So I think this is the last thing. I'm hopeful.
No, well, the rumor was that you were a St. George's fan and you were hiding. And I'm just like, no, St. George's fan, we don't hide. Like, so I don't know. You could tell your story. Basically, the brother said has been sick, folks. Other people spreading rumors that his St. George's fan says has been missing for the entire month. But either way, it's good to have you back, brother.
Yeah, good to be back. I've been following on something. I'm interested to see what the next few weeks brings with the cup match. I think Somerset probably may not be as confident as they have been in previous years.
I noticed something like Somerset fans are a little different too. Just a little weird or something. But yeah, I think
that's all year though.
Well, that's true. It's not just 2 days, yeah. Or
yeah.
1 month. Yeah. But no, I see they lost one of their top opening batsmen, and apparently people are telling me that players have not been informed so far, which is hard to judge because it's been a weird cricket season anyway. Like to some, no consistent cricket. But folks, it's a lot to it, but we'll get to that. Cup match selection night coming up. Good morning to you, Tanya Cheeseman. She says, good morning, Jamel and Larry. And Sean DeShields, appreciate you, brother. He says, greetings from London. Sean, are you going to be back in Bermuda for the restaurant crawl? We love to have you, man. Taking place on the 30th of July. Good morning to you, Sister Jamaica Smith. And Aunt Karen says, good morning, Jamel and Larry. So folks, let's get to, we've got greetings everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. We have a big giveaway today, right? So we've got Traci Burgess, the executive director of KBB, on the show, and we're going to be giving away two general admission tickets to the Eastern County cricket game between Baylor's Bay and St. David's this weekend. So this Saturday, July 22nd at Baylor's Bay Cricket Club, you're also going to get 2 reusable KBB bottles to carry to the game. So you want to tune into the entire conversation with KBB today to see if you're going to be the lucky winner. And, we know there's some of you just ain't got no culture in you. So some of you ain't never been to a Connie game, right? So we hope we can change someone's fortunes and get you out there in your red and white this weekend to support Baylor's Bay. I mean, if you want to support St. David's, that's on you as well. But can't help everybody.
Delusional people again.
Yeah, can't help everybody. We noticed this from Somerset, but we'll be giving away 2 Eastern County cricket tickets to the cricket game for this weekend. So stay tuned. Also, folks, the restaurant crawl. We've got a bunch of you signed up yesterday, and I'm honest when I say this. We are limited, so we just have a few slots left. So we'd like to have you out to engage with you in person and enjoy some good food. So just check your email. If you don't have it and you want to go, just email us at engage@thedailyhour.com.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. I'm been in all July, so.
Oh yeah, he's ready to eat too. See, and also make sure you don't forget we will be announcing more as far as the cup match selection night. So make sure you follow Media Maya as well as BCG Television. We'll have some important information coming up about that. So stay tuned with us. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe on thedailyhour.com. Subscribe to the website so that you don't miss any updates. And also follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, now all of that's out of the way. Folks, yes, Bayless Bay all the way. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Karen Simmons says, I will not be wearing any red this month. Bayless Bay all the way every day. Red is only acceptable in the month of July if it's with white and you make sure people know it's Bayless Bay. That's the only time it's acceptable. And that's when you saw that red in my shirt the other day. That's what I was trying to tell you. It was Bayless Bay, but you don't want to listen to me. You don't want to listen to me. But anyway, let's jump into today's conversation. Obviously, this has been a big conversation as of late. It's spreading through social media. There was some things sent via video yesterday of people waiting at Horseshoe, then another video saying, oh, don't believe the hype video. And we know videos, we were just talking about surveillance yesterday. You know, just because you see it doesn't mean it's real. I know that may seem like it doesn't make sense to you, but just because you see it doesn't mean that's actually how it happened and went down. Remember, there were things that happened before that video was being shot. There were things that happened after that video was being shot, right? A video doesn't tell the whole story, all right? So that said, the question of the morning is very easy. Charles H. Jefferson II often speaks of when we have these conversations about what can we do to improve tourism. A lot of people have these ideas of a water park and this and that. But he always says, we need to ask ourselves if we have the right infrastructure for the tourism that we believe we need. So the question of the morning, based on what's happened as of late, what can be done to improve public transportation in Bermuda? What do you believe can be done to improve public transportation in Bermuda? Now, there are some people that believe if we had better public transportation, we wouldn't have the livery cycle accidents with tourists on our roads. There are people who believe that if we had better public transportation, we wouldn't have the amount of traffic we have on our roads. There are people who believe if we had better public transportation, that it would equate to a more healthy population. We all know that in big cities, public transportation plays a huge role in the overall operation. But what can be done in Bermuda to improve public transportation? We have issues. I know people complain saying that the bus schedules are off, or that the new buses, they have issues with the old buses and new buses, and we can't find people to do it. People complain about the taxis. Just yesterday, a video going around about where's the taxis and minibus. Then another video saying, oh no, that don't believe that the taxis and minibuses were here.
Yeah.
Right? But even then, we know we have an issue in Bermuda. And we need to figure it out and figure it out fast, because we can't say we want tourists and we can't get a bus schedule right for our students.
Yeah, I think very great points that you made. And to expand on it, I think we have to ask the question, what can we do better? And I think the overwhelming answer is we need improvement. Will it be perfection? Probably not, but we definitely need to go a few notches higher than what the current standard is. I saw yesterday there was an article in the Gazette about the taxi drivers and the stands they want for all taxi drivers, former and current, to take a stand. I don't want it to get this turn into a back and forth between taxi drivers versus the public or politicians and whatnot, but that has a role to do with it. But I think it's two things that are a bit controversial that I think Bermuda has to consider, and that is privatization and ride sharing. Um, I've seen too many times where I think ride sharing would be beneficial in some cases. And well, I don't need a video to tell me, having worked at the airport previously in different roles and whatnot, I've seen where passengers, I won't just say tourists because locals come back also and don't always have a ride, where it becomes an issue. Also, if you have luggage, you're not able to get on a bus. You know what I mean? It was an issue. Sorry. I've seen in the past where passengers have been refused because they have luggage and they thought that they'll be able to go. So I think a serious conversation about evolving needs to happen. And I don't know if we are ready to get past the politically motivated stuff. You remember the last big things with the taxi drivers was the GPS, and that became political.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, what is in the best interest of the community and of course the tourists that we want to come to Bermuda?
Yeah. I think you touched on a lot. You said a lot, and it's a lot I agree with. You know, okay. Question to the audience: do you think Bermuda's public transportation system is good? Yes or no? Do you believe the public transportation system is good? Yes or no?
No, it's not.
I would say hell no.
Yeah.
And I feel bad, and you know, I feel bad saying no. And I'll tell you why I feel bad saying no. Because I'm comparing it to other places I've lived, like New York. I'm comparing it to Boston.
But it's not gonna be that. But sorry, real quick. But we're asking for improvement on what it currently is.
Correct. But I'm gonna take it down. So I was gonna say New York, Boston, and I'm gonna go right down to one of the smallest cities I lived in that had public transport, which was Providence in Rhode Island. I used to take the bus in Providence before I got a car, right? And it was smooth. It was easy, right? And so I know the comparison may seem a bit out there when we're thinking about New York City, but I think you said this in what you said, that we're not looking for perfect, we're just looking for improvement. And I think when you look at anything, let's say someone's working out, they want to lose weight. We're not saying if you're 300 pounds to lose 100 pounds over 6 months or whatnot. That's not healthy, I don't think. But let's take steps.
Yeah.
Let's get to 5.
Excellent comparison.
Let's go to 10 pounds. And then in 2-3 years, you're down 100 pounds, right? So I think what we're looking for is, what does that strategy, what does that plan look like to improve it? Now, I did just ask, does anyone think Bermuda's public transportation system is good? We've got a no from Tanya Cheeseman, a hell no from Shonda Shields, a no from Karen Simmons, a no from Mark Arthur C. Phillips. And the question of the morning: what can be done to improve public transportation in Bermuda? We had water taxis. Water taxis, Misha Fubba says. What are your thoughts on water taxes, audience? Because the only thing that concerns me about water taxes, and let me be clear, as I said to Maya and Larry before we came on live, is when I first moved to New York City, I've used every form of public transport there. Ferry, bus, the subway, but also the train system is a difference, right? So the thing about the water taxi situation is it can be very iffy when it's not a good day in Bermuda.
Mm.
And I think that's just the elements. So while I think that can assist, we see how it is with ferries during the cooler months. You know, it can be really, really, really tough. Sean DeShields says what you said: privatize the current unreliable bus service, as Larry mentioned. Well, privatization, Larry, you said it, and I was like, uh-oh, because you know how people felt about privatization years ago, right?
Yeah, I think it's certain things that if you can make a profit, get it from out of the government, they put it out to tender, and it goes from there. It's a process. I think the workers still should be unionized. I think when you make these types of, you use the words like privatization, the workers get all up in a frenzy about certain things. And no, I'm still for the workers, but at the end of the day, I think it would be beneficial because they do make a profit, and it doesn't put a strain on the government purse. So in my opinion, I think it's just a upgrade that kind of needs to happen. But we get stuck in this. We're going down tools. It will be us versus them. The politicians don't think about, well, if it's a large part of their base, they're not going to do it. And I think it's just not beneficial for Bermuda.
Yeah. I think you keep saying it, and it's true. Like, it's hard to improve situations like this with the politics what it is. It always becomes this political thing, you know. Tanya Cheeseman says, I remember when I used to take the ferry from St. George's to town every day for work. No longer available. Would love to see it come back. Monica Dunstan says, no, she doesn't believe the public transportation system is good. Bermuda BDA public trans is unreliable and inconsistent. Tanya Cheeseman goes on to say, for me, being on a route that can use multiple buses to town, I don't always feel the impact, but those of other routes like 1, 3.
Yeah. Well, the number 1 and the number 3 bus. Yeah.
Grotto Bay and Castle Harbor routes.
Yeah.
Okay. There is a big impact when the buses don't run properly. Check me remembering bus routes, folks. Sean DeShield says there are several bus route cancellations daily, so there is no way the public transportation system is reliable.
And that sums it up right there.
Nicole Walker says gypsy cabs, although unregulated, are a huge help in St. George's, taking tourists from downtown over to Tobacco Bay and on tours. I've also used them to arrange airport transportation for visitors.
So if that's the case, which we all know, we have to get on board and get this ride sharing good. And again, you say that taxi drivers will go up in a frenzy because they think it takes away from them and whatnot. I'm not saying you have to find a way for it both to coexist. But it's just not enough. What is it? Demand? We're not meeting the demand right now. And I understand it's a busy season. We have some taxi drivers that, to be honest, just want to get through with prearranged jobs and are not here for the regular pickup people. But the slack has to be picked up by someone, and I think that's where ride sharing can be beneficial because it's already happening.
Here's the thing. I could be wrong. Any cab drivers in the audience, let me know. But I just don't think cab drivers would care as much at this point if we had ride sharing. I don't see it. I could be wrong. I probably shouldn't give that unverified opinion. But it's like the GPS thing. I think many cab drivers opposed to that first more so because of the politics involved. Many of them felt like this was Dr. Brown trying to get a cut or something. I'm not saying he was. I think they just felt the politics involved and the person bringing it. Now, I think years later, I think Dr. Ewart Brown felt, validated. Like he felt like, okay, cool. Like they went for it. This is all I was trying to tell them. So do we need ride share? Look, Bermuda could do with ride share. Bermuda could do with what's that? Cash App and Zelle and all that. Like, there's a lot of things that Bermuda can do to come into the 21st century to make things a bit easier, not just for tourists, but I always say, if everything's all good at home for the people who reside, then it'll be good for the people who are coming into your home.
Yeah. Maya often talks about walking and biking lanes. And while that may be difficult in some areas, I think we may have to consider, and that's a bit more resources, maybe far going. But what you said, we're not asking to lose 100 pounds in 6 weeks. We're asking to put on proper foundation so we can grow, to have them things possibly come to fruition. But as of right now, we are just a bunch of people trying to explain to tourists or take videos to say how we're not doing and back and forth. And I'm just saying it's just not beneficial to anyone involved.
Yeah. Bike lanes could be pretty tough in Bermuda because of the size. But
I was glad to see the redevelopment of the tracks on the eastern ends, and hopefully the western ends ones will, that's still in operation, but can get a facelift. You know what I mean? Just to proper help out or whatnot, because people need different options.
Yeah, I mean, those things could be used as HOV lanes, really. Folks, what are your thoughts? What can be done to improve public transportation in Bermuda? Misha Fabler says private buses are too late. Private buses are late too. Greyhound and Megabus have been unpleasant experiences for me. Profit motive competes with quality of service. So privatization, he makes a great point, because privatization is all about making a profit.
Yeah. Great point.
Sean DeShield says the bus, train, and ferry services in London are classic examples of quality transport systems. I know we believe that, we think that, and I mean, I don't disagree, but I wonder how locals feel. And I say that because I wonder if we think they're great examples because of what we're used to. You get me? Versus the people there might say, oh, it's crap, it could be better, like how we're saying about Bermuda. Because believe it or not, there's someone somewhere who thinks that our public transportation system is good. I don't know if they've ever tried it, but I'm just saying. Tanya Cheeseman says, just got back from New Jersey and we used Uber to get around. It was actually very reliable. We touched on this earlier in the Chica Trot. She says, is there any correlation between an increase in accidents and a lack of efficient public transportation? Well, we said earlier in the Chica that, I started off by saying the 3 things that could possibly help with a better public transportation system it probably would reduce the amount of traffic on the road and the amount of people rent and livery cycles, right? So, it could be a correlation. I mean, if people had more options, they'd probably be less likely. James Burgess says the system is not good. Certain roads like Harrington Hundreds area, Points and Davids. I hear that. Sean DeShield says, is Hitch already rideshare option in Bermuda? Oh, Hitch is tied to
the taxi. Yeah,
it's tied. It's still tied to the cab. So I mean, the cabs still have to be available to for someone to get a ride. Karen Simmons says, instead of getting new buses, we could get a fleet of taxis that drivers would become employees. I think that's a great idea, but I really feel like cab drivers want to be their own boss. So I'm not quite sure how they take that. Traveling Trotty says, I recently got back and there were rideshare situations at the airport. There were 4 in the taxi going to Grotto Bay at 11 each, and I paid 21 to get home. So rideshare is happening. So folks, is that real? Like, is that legislated? Is that like part of that? Is that legal? Like a taxi can...
I couldn't even, I don't even know. And I don't want to... Yeah, but it happens. So I think we gypsy cab option. This is gypsy cab situation. And this situation is happening. Let's just get it on board so it's more efficient for other people.
Hold on. Maya, can you we got to find this out. I want to know if that's, and I'm not trying to get a cab driver in trouble. Let me be clear. I'm not trying to, tattletale. I'm just trying to figure out if that's legal, because if it is, and people are comfortable sharing a cab with others, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Anton Trott says, good morning, CDA family. I think there needs to be an effective blend of public and private transportation options. He also goes on to say the difficulty is that there needs to be increased collaboration between industries. That's great point.
Yeah, indeed. Look, good conversation. My hope is that through these conversations, we can actually find solutions to the issues that are impacting our community. This is nothing slight, in my opinion. And that's, I'm glad that Traveling Trotty brought that back up about, is there a correlation? Because, a good public transportation system actually solves a lot of problems. I've had the privilege of living in major cities and small cities. Some may think it's unfair to compare, but trust me, for each city or jurisdiction size, there can be a good system that works for everyone.
Yeah.
Think of, people always compare Europe to the US. Like the US is a car, like everyone's, if you don't live in a major city, you got to have a car. But that comes down to money. It's like this example I give you guys for school. The reason that public schools in the US don't require uniforms, you got to understand it by now. It has nothing to do with anything outside of keeping retailers money in retailers' pockets so that children have to buy new clothes. That's what that is. The same with the car system. These big car makers, Ford and Chrysler, all those in the US, is to keep these companies going. In Europe, that's why they have better public transport throughout. But let's bring Maya in. Well, go through B. Denise Hollis says, maybe the government could lower the cost of the taxi permits and licensing fees, even if temporarily, to allow taxi owners purchase more taxis. It would also create jobs as they would be able to hire. Sean DeShield says this is common practice at the airport when limited cabs are available, speaking to the share. But again, common practice, is it legal? Let's bring Maya in for the Daily Hour news break. Don't forget, we're giving away 2 tickets to this weekend's Eastern County game between Bayless Bay and St. David. So you want to tune into the entire conversation with Traci Burgess, the executive director of KBB. Folks, we've completed half a year as of June 30th. We're going to find out how much trash has been picked up in Bermuda and how does it compare year over year. But we want to help somebody go to the Eastern County game this weekend after Maya's Daily Hour news break.
Good morning. Good morning.
Greetings, madame. How are you?
Feeling well. Feeling well.
Good. Let's jump in this, Maya. You have obviously lived in big cities before. All three of us have been outside of Bermuda and dealt with different public transportation. But speak to us from your personal position, not as the journalist media Maya, but as Maya, a student, as Maya, a traveler. Like, what are your thoughts on things that we can do to improve Bermuda's public transportation based on what you've seen in other places?
Okay, so in all of my years, I can definitely say, coming from Bermuda, where like constantly like you're running for the bus, you think you got it on time, and having that experience as a child going to school, having to catch a bus everywhere, but also when the bus routes kind of stopped when I lived in Smith's Parish growing up, and they stopped after 6 p.m. and how do I get home for National Squad training if the buses aren't running? All that type of stuff that I had to deal with when it comes to public transportation. So going to school in Canada and Halifax, huge, major difference. Like the bus routes were inside the Google Maps. You can see when the bus was coming and showing up. Like you knew where it was about to arrive. Like it'll even have a countdown 2 minutes away. So you knew, and when you're on the bus as a new person in a big city, like, and you knew where you had to stop, but you're constantly checking your phone, like, okay, where am I? The bus tells you every single time what the next stop is, which is also very, very convenient. And it was just like this whole new wake-up call, like, wow, we really do not have it like this in Bermuda. Like I'm constantly just looking at a paper schedule and hoping that I'm going to make it on time, or that the bus is going to be there at the time that it says, but also running for the bus because you never know exactly if it's going to be 5 minutes early, 5 minutes late, things like that. So huge difference in the city of Halifax when I went to school.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I think many Bermudians, when they leave, especially when they go to school, they get this eye-opener. And even people, Bermudians that have been in droves moving to the UK, are probably getting this rude awakening. One of the things I noticed when I moved to New York is a lot of people almost frowned on those who had cars. Like, it's like, why you have a car? This is New York City. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would love a Bermuda where you can reduce, your
carbon footprint
and your carbon footprint. Like, you're not using gas and you're not impacting the environment. Like, I would love to see it. Will it happen in our lifetimes?
Yeah.
I had this conversation on Media Matter, I believe, last month, and we talked about how one person commented saying, like, for the size of Bermuda is, the fact that we rely on our cars and our own vehicles to get somewhere is absolutely ridiculous. Like, we should have like public transportation that we can trust and that can get us from A to B. And like, I personally believe if we had better public transportation, like even the high rate of diabetes that we have in Bermuda, I think it's like 1 in every 3 adults in Bermuda are either overweight or obese. And like, if we couldn't have better public transportation, that means more people will be walking to the bus stops, walking to work to get on the bus, and they can rely on that. So it will probably even help reduce that. Obviously, to help with tourism, but for our own people getting to where they need to go, and also reducing the amount of traffic on the roads, it's just it'll just mean so much.
Yeah, let's carry this conversation because I think it's important. But go ahead, Larry. You want to say something real quick?
Oh, and I just, as Maya was talking, like, just think about how many people drive into Hamilton every day. Like, if we was to be able to get, if half of those people on public transportation, it's right in the hub, and then get back on and then get right back to where they need to be, I'm pretty sure it will happen. But it's just, as Maya said, not reliable.
Yeah. There's room for a lot of improvement, though. But we can keep talking about this. We're passionate. We have interest in it, and I just hope that the people who make the decisions are, taking heed.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. This is the Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Starting out with the news this morning, police have put out just a general safety warning for the summer. First one being the water activities. They say that children should never be left unsupervised near a pool or the ocean. Responsible adults need to properly supervise children at all times when on the beaches and shorelines, as well as around public and private schools. Children, especially young ones, can get in trouble quickly, even in shallow waters. More importantly, they continued on by saying, while deemed by some as a cultural rite of passage, cliff diving is a very dangerous activity and should be avoided. Many young lives have been forever changed as a result of cliff diving incidents gone wrong when at the beach, check to see if a lifeguard is on duty, or at the very least, if a floatable device is attached to the lanyard nearby, which can be thrown to anyone experiencing difficulty in the water. Next up is traffic awareness, which we talk about constantly on this show, but children also require adult supervision if walking near traffic, especially when in groups, and should always walk on the sidewalks. If possible, motorists are asked to be especially vigilant near playgrounds and homes, as children play in the areas may about run out on the roads without warning. And lastly, police say children should be reassured that they can speak with a trusted adult if they feel uncomfortable in any situation. Adults, including summer program staff, can help ensure a safe summer for Bermuda's children by being vigilant and reporting any concerns or suspicious circumstances to the BPS by calling 211 or 911 in an emergency.
I just want to go back to the first part, and I'm not making a joke here, but and I know reminders are necessary, but the fact you have to remind people about children and water, folks, you shouldn't have to be reminded, but I guess because the police are doing it, please, 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 please take heed. Don't just
let it happen like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What they say in one inch of water.
Very shallow water.
Yeah, and if the even on the like where the waves come up, like seriously, just be cautious and yeah.
Yeah, I want to reiterate the cliff diving one as well. Like, I've known people who have had serious incidents cliff diving, change their life forever. So just, be very wary of that. And also what they said about trust, like allowing the child to be able to trust you with something. Really dig through what the child's telling you if they're really trying to explain like something happened. Sometimes children have different languages for things. And also as a reminder that SCARS has sex offenders on their link as well. So you can go to scars.com, I believe, or SCARS Bermuda, and you could go and look at all the registered sex offenders that they have on that list as well. So the faces. A lot of people are out, and so summertime, you want to be mindful of your surroundings and be vigilant, especially if you're a counselor or camp counselor.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up next in the news are the Minister of Education, Diallo Bain, did respond to the St. George's Preparatory PTA working group's 2 demands that they sent to the minister in a letter. You may recall yesterday I reported that they had 2 demands, which were number 1, no closure without funding and infrastructure in place, and number 2 was that the school should also be granted permission to have P7 for the school year 2024-2025, as they feel that the government is not providing satisfactory options for their children. While the minister responded by saying that, quote, since engaging on the education reform journey in 2017, we have held hundreds of consultations, engagement, and socialization meetings, and received thousands of individual submissions from parents, educators, students, and other community members. Most consultation submissions and the ministry responses are published on our website to support the transparency of our process. I'm encouraged that your PTA working group has reached out to offer to contribute to the ongoing process of education reform. I am pleased to confirm that several comments in your letter have been previously considered and are already part of the reform process and are positions with which we fully agree. However, other views would benefit from further dialogue to provide clarity and hopefully a shared understanding. I would like to meet with representatives of the PTA working group to discuss your letter and education reform in its totality. I'm hopeful that we can hold a fruitful discussion after the Cup match holiday, and I look forward to sitting with your representatives at that time.
Okay.
Nothing to say.
Well, meanwhile, the Office of Tax Commissioners advised that e-tax filing for the period of April, May, and June has been extended until today, July 20th. So if you still haven't gotten your e-taxes in, you can do that today before the deadline closes. And in other news, the Bermuda Aquarium Museum and Zoo opens up its new exhibition, and it's called A Tale of Two Islands. The new exhibition tells the story of None Such Island, the Living Museum, and Trunk Island, the Living Classroom. The exhibits use a graphic novel style to portray Bermuda's conservation efforts, past and present, and visually designed in a way that appeals to children and adults alike. None Such Island of St. David's Island is the home of the Cahao Recovery Project, the protected breeding grounds of Bermuda sea petrel or Cahao in Harrington Sound. Trunk Island is the center of the BZS's conservation and education efforts. Prominent stories told by the exhibit include, I'm just going to list a couple, the rescue of the Cahao from the brink of extinction, led by Bermudian conservationist Dr. David Wingate, the translocation of the Cahao None Such Island by Jamie Medeiros, and American naturalist and marine biologist William Beebe's pioneering deep-sea exploration of Nonsuch Island in 1930s. Also opening as well, they say, is the return of the BAM's touch pool. If you remember, it's the one where you could touch the little sea slugs and sponges and cucumbers, just to name a few. And so that's going to be opening as well.
I remember that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take Mason. He calls the aquarium his first favorite place.
Oh,
so I have to take him in the touch pool.
too bad his father don't like animals.
Correct. By
Yeah.
taking him.
Partial.
I'm not even gonna do it to him today. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah.
My favorite part was the seals. I love looking at seals. They look like the water dogs. It just anyway, they're very cute. Moving on to some other news. We got Balco telling us that if reminding the public side that if you are a public member or construction worker, to please call before you dig or trench, especially when it's in the vicinity of a visible Balco infrastructure. They say contacting Balco before digging or trenching is a requirement outlined in the Bermuda Occupational Safety and Health Regulations. The regulations stipulate that any service that may impose a hazard is shut off or disconnected. And if this is not possible, then the utility must be on site to supervise the excavations. Please call Balco at least 5 working days before digging a trench, and the Balco staff will make an appointment to visit the site and ensure that the grounds are safe and that no cables will be cut. They say this is also a free service and helps keep workers safe while also preventing possible interruptions to electricity supplies should cables be cut. For more information, or if you need to schedule an appointment, you can email info@balco.bm or call 295-5111.
All righty.
Okay.
And closing up with some sports, Jessica Lewis, our 3-time Paralympian, had a reflection on her performance in Paris. She posted on social media saying, leaving Paris 2023 World Para Athletics Championships with a 5th place in the 100 meter and a 7th place in the 400 meter. I'm feeling content, but with so much appreciation for the amazing journey I've been on so far and for the next chapter with her coach. She says, I am truly grateful for the incredible people I have in my corner. Always an honor to represent Bermuda on the world stage. Merci beaucoup, Paris.
Mm-hmm.
How's the weather looking? They tell me it's like a monsoon in Bermuda yesterday.
Yeah, it's just been
This
raining.
morning, too.
It's been raining. Today is looking like mostly cloudy again, showers and thunderstorms easing during the morning. And we have a high of 85 degrees. But yeah, it's going to be raining down again.
All I'm saying, Mother Nature, get it all out now because we don't want the excuse. Look, that's the only way to keep in the cup. I'm sorry. That's the only way to keep in the cup this year if the heavens open for them. So anyway, what you got for days of the year, Larry?
Today is International Chess Day. Join a chess club, challenge a friend or family member to a game. Sign up for a tournament or start learning on your own against a computer or online player. You know how to play chess, Arden?
Nah, you know how to play?
Yes.
You know
I'm basic to it. You know how to play Maya?
Yeah, I'm basic. My cousin Malachi actually taught me. He is really, really good. Really good.
Seeing the board moves ahead, I can't get into it.
I was the slowest person in my MBA program. Everyone in my MBA program knew how to play chess, and I'm like, oh, okay. I don't play board games. That was my excuse, right? I was the.
But it's a thinking game. It's a thinking game. I actually watch it. I actually watch people play online.
That's my point. It's a thinking game. I'm a snakes and ladders kind of guy. What you talking about? You all got me talking about, let's play Scrabble. You mean I'm gonna think and spell words? No.
I love Scrabble. Oh my gosh, I love Scrabble.
But yeah, check out some chess.
We're gonna have to have a chess games night too. But real quick, on this day, guys, July 20th, 1968, the first Special Olympics was held in Chicago, Illinois for children and adults with intellectual disabilities. So that's interesting. 1968 it began, and obviously I'm not a fan of the Special Olympics right now because how they did our brother, our cousin, our family Kamari deal, but I'm getting over it slightly. All right. I'm about to forgive them, but it's still too early. It hasn't been like a month and a half yet. All right. Stick with us, folks. If you've never, audience, just let us know. Yes or no, audience, have you been to an Eastern County cricket game? Let us know real quick. Maya.
Yes. Actually, I remember doing an article on it for Pink Sand Bermuda too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Larry and I know you've been. But folks, let us know because we want to give away some tickets to Eastern County this weekend between Papa's Bebe Kids and there's people from St. David's. All right. But you got to tune into the entire conversation with KBB. Maya, thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
See you soon. And a reminder,
All right.
don't wear heels to the game. Just don't do it.
My goodness.
Wear sneakers and have fun.
That's just like that police reminder. Things we shouldn't have to say, but we have to say.
They're coming around 6:30 at night. They're coming down for you.
Have a good
Bye,
one.
guys.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Traci Burgess.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's, I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's next.
Celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendy Town Field. Number 6, Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
Hey, welcome back to The Big Show. Larry Marshall Jr., myself, I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, please don't forget, Restaurant Crawl, we're in the mix. Make sure you fill it out ASAP, get involved. You want to come out, tour Bermuda, visit a few restaurants, and, let's give them some grades, but also have some fun with us as we do some trivia and get to know each other and figure out ways we can improve our community. Make sure you subscribe to our website, follow us on all of our social media channels, and help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Without further ado, let's bring in our guest for the day. We've got our co-host, Traci Burgess from KBB, back into his house. Welcome. How are you?
Good morning.
Welcome to welcome to the Daily Hour in July for the first time.
Thank you.
Traci, before, I'm going to ask you this question because of all the times you've been on, I just don't know and I can't read. So first, we're going to go to the audience. We asked some people, have they been to an Eastern County game? And Traveling Trotty, we got a lot of yeses. James Burgess, Karen Simmons.
Tickets for Eastern County.
Okay. I thought she was showing her team like that looked like a Cleveland County, and we just come about Cleveland, and I'm like, no, we don't need no Cleveland colors. But it seems like all but one person so far. Diane White says no, she hasn't. So we're rooting for everybody, especially Baylor's Bay fans. But before we get to County game, gotta ask you this question, and this depends on our entire relationship going forward. What side are you for Cop Match, Traci?
I'm not. I remain neutral.
All right, Switzerland. We're gonna call you Switzerland from now on.
I don't know how I feel.
Go right ahead. Call me whatever you like. No, but in all honesty, I'm not a huge fan of cricket. So
you don't have to be. So these people don't even know that a ball and a bat is involved in the game. They're like, well, I'm for St. George's. But you know what? We appreciate your neutrality. You know why? Because although neutral people are traditionally the ones you have to watch out for the most, I can't dislike you. That's the good thing for 1 month of the year. All right?
Thank you.
So we're cool. All right,
Yeah.
Traci got some tickets. You saw them, folks. She's got some tickets. We're giving away 2 tickets, so you got to tune into the entire conversation. But let's get into it. Just remind the audience, we have these conversations monthly. And I just want to make sure people are connected and understand the role that KBB plays in the community. So just remind us of the key focus areas of KBB's mission.
Yeah, so our mission is to reduce waste, eliminate litter, and beautify the island. And we do that through two streams. One is through action, which would be like our cleanup activities and programs and projects. And the other stream is through education, both schools-based education, where we work with students ages 3 and up, as well as adult education and raising awareness throughout the public domain and engaging with the community.
You heard it, folks. We've gotten through half of the year as of June 30th, right? We're in July already. At the halfway point, how much trash has been collected in Bermuda so far, and how does it compare year over year?
Half year mark for 2023, we've pulled about 115,000 pounds of trash, litter, bulk waste, and ocean pollution from sites all across the island. A lot of that is local litter and illegally dumped bulk waste. We're seeing chronic and repetitive behaviors when it comes to really poor waste management habits and choices that residents of Bermuda seem to be making in reference to where and how they discard their trash. And KBB, unfortunately, is coming behind and picking up a lot of it. But we're also focused on preventative measures as well. So, we're really trying to address the root cause of the problems.
Interesting.
I actually live off of Veazey Street, and that's a chronic area for where people do illegal dumping, and it just frustrates me. But moving on. During the summer, more people are outside, more events are happening. How can we encourage people to reduce waste during the summer season?
So there's lots of tips and ways that we can reduce waste all year round, not just through the summer season. One would be, for the summer, people tend to be outdoors a lot more, picnicking, beaching, camping, things like that. Really try to aim for like a zero waste experience, a zero waste picnic, where you're not depending on disposable products like single-use plastic bags or single-use plastic cups and plates and things like that. Try to switch to alternative products that can be reused. You can also, this month is always recognized as Plastic Free July. So really, just if everybody could try to have an awareness for the amount of plastics that you're using on a daily basis, and maybe just make one or two changes. Doesn't have to be anything major, but just one or two simple steps that you can tweak in your daily lifestyle and in your habits to try and reduce the amount of plastics that you're using. And then we talk about the 5 R's, right? Sometimes there's 3 R's, sometimes there's 7 R's. Right morning, we're going to talk about 5 R's. So one is rethink your personal habits. And then the second is refuse single-use plastics. So start to say no to single-use plastics. Then really kind of take a look at how you can reduce the amount of waste that you're generating personally and as a household. Try to use reusable products like KBB water bottles, which are part of the giveaway today. Reusable products, and then focus on recycling. And here in Bermuda, we recycle. Residential recycling tends to include tag items, which is tin, aluminum, and glass. Although we do recycle other materials here in Bermuda, like light bulbs and batteries and things like that. But the 3 key materials that typically come out of household recycling and office recycling as well are tin, aluminum, and glass. Our friends at beyondplastic.bm, which is a partnership between KBB and BEST. So beyondplastic.bm has a lot of other helpful tips and resources for, plastic free and reduce, reuse, and recycle activities throughout the summer.
Great information. As more people are outside, as we just said, more people are using the ocean. Just remind the audience of what they can do to ensure we do our part to keep our water beautiful and clean.
So same thing we just talked about in reference to, reduce, reuse, recycle. Try not to take single-use plastics on the boat with you or, out for your water-based recreational activities or to the beach. because even with accidental littering, so sometimes things might blow away, they might blow overboard, and then it's accidentally contributing to the global ocean pollution crisis, which, Bermuda's on the front lines of battling. We are inundated with plastics and marine debris and ocean pollution that's constantly washing onto our shores, mostly from other jurisdictions, but some of it is also, local. Local litter that's blown into the water. So really, try to think sustainably, especially when you're on the water or near the water, and reduce, reuse, and recycle.
Yeah, it's definitely a interesting word, because once you go about sustainable and looking to do that single use, it kind of shifts the way how you kind of do things. So we're halfway through the year. What initiatives and cleanups do we have coming up, and how can people get involved?
Yeah, so we're really focused on, we've got a lot going on with the cricket season this summer and into early fall. So, KBB is very active with green events, waste management, and we work with large events, both local and international events that are hosted here on the island, to really try to reduce the amount of waste that the events are generating and promote recycling throughout the events, as well as, overall lessen the environmental footprint that the event is having on Bermuda. So we are partnered with the Eastern Counties Cricket Association for the 3 games coming up July 22nd, August 19th, and September 2nd. KBB will have a strong presence at the games, as well as, on the radio broadcasts and, live stream coverage and all sorts of things. We're also partnered with Bermuda Cricket Board for 2 major tournaments that are coming up in September and early October, one of which is the ICC America Men's T20. It's a pre-World Cup qualifier, or it's a pre-qualifier for the World Cup. So whichever team wins that tournament here in Bermuda the first week in October, they automatically go into the World Cup. So that's a pretty big tournament. And, it will be covered locally and internationally. So it's fun for KBB to be part of such big events, because we can actually see in real time our contributions and the impact that partnering on green events waste management is having. So those things are coming up. We've also got the International Coastal Cleanup, which is happening September 28th through October 8th. And that's an annual event where we do, end to end. It's the entire island, and it's solely marine based, focused on cleaning up our coastline, our beaches, all the coastal areas around the island. So that's coming up. So we're starting to, confirm scheduling and, groups and activities for that as well.
All righty. We've got some questions from the audience. And folks, if you have any questions or comments for Traci, please send them through. We'll do our best to get through most of them. Traveling Charlie's asking, should Bermuda have mandatory recycling?
So I can't give an official answer on that. I can give my personal opinion, and I am not speaking on behalf of KBB, but my personal opinion is that mandatory recycling has proven to be very effective in other jurisdictions. And I think that it would be beneficial if Bermuda could move in that direction.
Yeah. It's weird, because city to city, state to state, as I've moved across the US, some of them it's mandatory and like heavy penalties if you don't. Others, it's, your personal.
You know who does it? You know who does it well? Canada. Like the recycling in Canada, they are on it. Like if you don't put it in the right place or whatnot, it's fines, and you see it. Canada is a much cleaner place than the United States.
Yeah, the UK has a really good waste management plan in place as well, with mandatory recycling and separating and trash collection and things like that. And here's the other thing. So when we look at Bermuda's chronic problem with littering, illegal dumping, and the ocean pollution, but really focused on the first 2, the littering and the illegal dumping, there's no reason why it is as bad as what it is. There's no reason why it should be happening at all. First of all, the public dump is open free of charge, like free of charge. In most other jurisdictions around the world, you get charged. If you want to take your trash to the dump facility yourself, they're charging you a fee. And in Bermuda, it's free. So like, why are we still dumping at our public docks and on the railway trail and littering all across, our parks and beaches and roadside? I mean, we just cleaned S Hill a couple weeks ago. So like down on the east end of Ord Road and coming down, and it was literally, the stretch of road was about this big. It was about 300 feet, right? Not a big stretch of road. Over 1,000 pounds of trash. Wow. We pulled out like 6 window air conditioners. We pulled out like 4 microwaves, somebody's bag of old shoes that they had thrown over the wall. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And then tons of bottles, tons of cans, tons of plastic bags and food takeout containers. And literally you can tell what the habits are. Well, people are sneaking around the corner, dumping their ACs and microwaves over the wall because it's a out of the way type place, right? So just a quick dump. And the roadside littering, you're either riding your bike or you're driving your vehicle, you come around that last bend heading down towards Middle Road and you chuck your stuff out the window. Like you can see what the habits are and what the patterns of behavior are. And, it's sad.
Yeah.
Bermuda is so naturally beautiful and it's cluttered.
They're talking to you today, so I want to get through these questions.
Go. I'll be quiet. Sorry.
Denise Hollis says, I live next to a government park, nature reserve, and a lot of trash ends up coming down there and in the trees. Would KBB be able to assist? Like, do you assist with those kind of things?
Yeah, definitely do. So, you know how to get a hold of me and give me a shout and we can identify the location and then we can work on coordinating a cleanup activity.
Alrighty. Wade, and I believe you did mention beyondplastic.bm, but she's asking what examples of single-use plastics.
So examples of single-use plastics would be like the little plastic single-use cups, right? That a lot of people would have at a summer picnic, or plastic plates and plastic forks and plastic cutlery. Also single-use plastic bags. Like when you go to the grocery, try to take your reusable shopping bags with you instead of getting the plastic bags from the grocery store. In reference to single-use plastic cups, try to use your own reusable drink bottle. This one is stainless steel, right? And it's insulated, so it helps to keep your drinks cold. Alternatives to plastic plates could be paper plates. If you still want something that you can get rid of, that you don't have to wash and clean, paper plates are better than plastic, but the best solution is an actual reusable plate. Just wash it and reuse it.
And you often speak about this, but Elephant 999 says the respect for nature has to be there and it has to be taught in school every day. I was never taught in school respect for nature, what it means to respect nature and what all Earth provides. And KBB does an excellent job, but just remind people how you go into schools and different spaces to educate young people so that this doesn't happen.
Yeah, we do have a dedicated person on board for education and community outreach. His name is Rendell Matalus. Unfortunately, Rendell's contract is coming to an end. He's moving into a different career path, but he's been very instrumental with helping to enhance the formal framework for KBB's education. And just in the past school year, right? So from actually starting back about last summer. So with some of the summer camps and then throughout the most recent school year, we've connected with over 5,000 students, and that's through assembly presentations. We have 10 different customizable lesson plans where we go into the classrooms and help support the teachers. We also do tactile learning, which will go out like with a summer camp or an after school program. We'll do a cleanup activity, and then let's say it was a beach cleanup and they've collected a lot of ocean plastics. We'll clean those up and then turn them into like an art project or something. And the students, through a hands-on experience of having collected the ocean pollution, the plastics, and then turned it into something else, they kind of see the whole flow of the process. And we're getting to engage with them and teach them throughout that process. So, unfortunately, Rendell is finishing up with us middle of August. He's been a phenomenal program delivery partner to have on board with KBB over the past 16 months. And we are currently seeking a new education and community outreach coordinator. So the job ad is on our website at kbb.bm, and the closing date for applications is July 31st, if anybody's interested.
There you go. Somebody, you know, somebody, let somebody know. Rosalind Famous, do we have the infrastructure on our island to sustain mandatory recycling? She's asking.
We absolutely do. So we've talked about this quite a lot as well. The MRF, right? The Materials Recovery Facility, which is Bermuda's recycling plant. So it used to be up on Devon Spring Road, up behind Elliott Primary School near MWI. And then that location was moved. It was relocated down to the quarry down in Hamilton Parish, the government quarry. But when it was moved, a lot of people, because it was outside, it was highly visible. Everybody knew kind of where the recycling plant was. You could see it. So when they moved it down to the quarry, a lot of people started thinking we don't recycle anymore. And that is absolutely not true. Yes, we do have the infrastructure to support mandatory recycling. The Materials Recovery Facility operates, on regular business hours. They produce with the glass, it gets crushed and it stays on island, and it's used for drainage solutions. And with the tin and aluminum, it gets crushed. It's condensed into like these 1 cubic yard bales, these bundles, and it gets shipped overseas and it's sold to a recycling facility on the east coast of the U.S.
Interesting. Well, I told you we didn't lie. We do have some tickets to give away along with 2 reusable KBB water bottles. Can you show them the water bottle? There you go. So, folks, you can keep cool with your water bottle. But here's the question, and we're going to take a break. We'll come back and we'll let you know. And again, remember, folks, it's the first thing we see on our side of the screen. Again, it may show different on your side. So the first thing we see on our side, that will be the winner. All right?
There you go.
People like to send me private messages. Well, I put it first. Hey, that's not how technology works. All right. The question is, and if you paid attention to what Traci was saying today, she actually told you. So what are the 3 key focus areas of KBB's mission? What are the 3 key focus areas of KBB's mission? They need to name all 3, Traci?
Well, that's the question, Jamal.
I'm asking.
It's a hard line.
Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes.
Messages, and they'll be like, well, you didn't say all that. Yeah, it said it. I read it, all 3.
Let's see how it goes. But listen, while we're waiting on the answers to come through, you keep calling this a water bottle, and I've been calling it a water bottle as well. But we all know if you're going to Connie game, it might not be water in your KBB bottle.
You know they be putting the spirits in there, Traci. They'll be putting the spirits in there. We can't help Bermudians being Bermudian at times. But just before you go, just remind people. I know we spoke about it, but how can they get in touch with you should they want to, do their own thing and just get out there and get involved? Just remind them how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so our website, kbb.bm, is our central hub for communications. You can also call the office on 799-5142, or you can email office@kbb.bm. You can also connect with us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Be sure to like, follow, share, comment, engage, post what you're doing as well. Like if you're out doing a cleanup activity in your neighborhood, post it and tag us and, let us know what you're doing.
Okay. Well, here's the responses we've got so far. The question is, what are the 3 key focus areas of KBB's mission? We've got one person saying action. Another says education sustainability action. Another person says education sustainability action. And we have a winner. Traveling Trotty says reduce waste, eliminate litter. But she added the third. She said reduce waste, eliminate litter, and beautify the island. She is the winner of.
Pretty good. I think she might. Did she go back rewind?
Anna, tell her what she's winning.
Well, and I know Traveling Trotty, so if I see you tomorrow morning, which I see her quite often through the week, you will have 2 KBB water bottles and 2 wristbands for entry into the Eastern County cricket game this Saturday at Bailey's Bay Cricket Club against St. David's.
All right. Hope you got your red and white on, Traci. Thank you so much, Traci. Honestly, this has been a very engaging conversation. Good one. Keep doing the work you do, and thank you for being a friend of this show, in particular the audience, and making sure that they have the information needed to help keep Bermuda beautiful. Let's talk soon.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Have a good day.
You too. If you appreciated the conversation, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share these conversations with your friends, your family. We're coming back. We've got that daily play trivia for you, cop match trivia for you. And, we'll see how cop match Larry Marshall Jr. really is. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But give us that love, that thumbs up. We're coming back.
If you haven't been to ER Fisheries in a while, it's time to hop in the car, drive east, and come check out what we have to offer. ER Fisheries and Foods is a Bermuda-based food company that sells a variety of food products to local customers. We are of course known for high-quality food items, including specialty meats and seafood, but we offer so much more. We have evolved from a small community-driven ordering window to a modern freezer front with easily accessible products. Our newly revamped store offers customers a top-tier shopping experience, and we also offer delivery. Regardless of your preferences or diet, we have something for everyone, including chicken, many varieties of seafood, pork, lamb, beef, plant-based items, fruit and veggies, bread, dairy, and grocery items. So come check us out for your specialty grocery needs. ER Fisheries is open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. at 134 Marginal Wharf, Southside St. David's.
All right. Thanks again to Traci Burgess of KBB. Thanks again to Wilmot Trucking for ensuring that we can have these conversations. Folks, if you have some trucking needs, residential or commercial, please reach out to Wilmot Trucking. The number is scrolling below, 534-7241, or you can email them at wilmottrucking@yahoo.com. So thanks again to both of them. If you appreciated the information, found it helpful, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like, and make sure you share these conversations with your friends, your family, your loved ones. It may help someone. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring we can have these conversations on a daily basis. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Larry, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. He says he's ready, folks. All right. Let's ask the question. Outside of Clarence Parfitt, who we recently learned the other day has the most wickets in cop match history, who is the only other player to have recorded at least 100 wickets in cop match?
You got me. I think it's St. George. I would think it's St. George's player from that same era. I am stumped.
Yeah, stumped. No one knows the answer apparently.
Yeah, but what's the wicket keeper?
He was a wicket keeper. Dennis Wainwright. So no, it's not Dennis Wainwright.
I would think it's the St. George's player from that era because he was building something out twice all the time in the 60s.
Lloyd James was known as a batsman, so nope, not
yeah.
Lloyd James. So the answer, Clarence Parfitt had 100. You got it, Nicole Walker. Alex Steed, yeah. Alex Steed, yeah. And he did play for St. George's, yeah. Randall Smith definitely was not a bowler. He was a batsman. But yeah, Alex Steed. So folks, if you haven't already, honestly, Cup Match Trivia, pick up your edition at a store. It's a fun game. Even people who love sport, cricket, and Cup Match like Larry had it wrong. So you may have
that's going in the memory bank.
Yeah, Alex Steed. So Clarence Parfitt has 115 total wickets. Alex Steed had 100 on the dot. They're the only two players with 100 and more wickets in Cup Match history.
I would think during that period, and even these players, current players now, like the dominant bowlers will probably have more opportunities because they're bowling the team out twice.
Yeah.
But for other times when there was a lot of draws, there's bowlers ain't getting close to 100.
Even the players now, longevity, I wonder if they have it in them to kind of get there. I think, I could be wrong, tell me if I'm wrong, I think Malachi Jones is up in 60 something, or and he's not getting any younger.
It could be, but I think Malachi is probably 34, 35.
Yeah.
Greg Maver's been playing for a good bit too. Also,
yeah, I like to see juggling Jason how many Mabry has, because he's been from when
at least for the last 10 years now.
His mid-20s, right? Like late 20s.
Mid to late 20s at least. He could possibly be going across 30.
Yeah,
quickly.
He's got at least another 10 years in him. So yeah, you never know. But good cop match question there. Let's wrap it up. Final thoughts on public transportation, then obviously the KBB conversation.
Public transportation, like I said in the conversation, I just would like to see improvement. Let's get the conversation going, put the infrastructure down, and then we can build on it. Because something has to give. It's got to get better. Maybe some uncomfortable conversations need to be had. Some people won't be happy, but if it's in the best interest of Bermuda, I think that's where we have to go. KBB, we're halfway through. It's quite interesting because I've been on a few of the episodes with Traci. So, each time we learn something new. Definitely looking at the summer months because, people use the parks and the ocean a bit more, and do different things, reduce your waste and then take a trash bag with you. We had a picnic the other day and we had to, the trash provided was overflowing. So have your own thing, just do that. So hopefully we can continue to support them as they do some important work in Bermuda.
Yeah. As far as public transportation, I think my advice to decision makers would be to please look at what other similar jurisdictions are doing and see what may work for us. No, I'm not saying they haven't been doing that, but if they have, we just haven't seen the results. So that would be my advice in that respect. As far as KBB, I know when we go to picnics, we get, have picnics, we're usually using plastic plates, plastic forks, everything. Nothing's reusable. And people don't want to do dishes. But take reusable containers. We don't all have to eat out of a plate. Save those containers. They could be containers you take for lunch and your family for the year. Simple things like that make a difference in the way we live. And I hope that people can be a bit more considerate and understand that. But as Larry said, take a big trash bag and just take it home with you when you go.
Yeah.
Because not every old trash is bad trash, meaning there are some parks where people may have picnics and they overflow. And then a bit of wind comes, a bit of weather, and it's all over the place. So it's not, I guess the point I'm making is not all intentional, right? But if we do our part and do a few more things. The other thing Traci said that I just want to pick up on. Folks, Bermuda's so small. There's no need to dump at VZ Street when the damn dump's right over the hill. There's no need to dump aboard. Just drive 15 more minutes. You've got people in these United States of America who are driving an hour to do what you wouldn't drive 15 minutes to do. Think about that.
Yeah.
You have a role to play. And it comes back to that word we're always talking about on this show, accountability. Let's take some. You got some daily inspiration for us there?
I do. And daily inspiration is brought to us by ER Fisheries. I believe in the impossible because no one else does. And that is from the current 100 and 200 meter world record holder, the late Florence Griffith Joyner.
Still a record holder. That's a good one. Nicole Walker makes a great point. She said she thinks Steve played for 30 years, which doesn't happen these days. Yeah, let's figure out who's the longest current player ongoing that's still playing.
Malachi Jones.
Malachi, you think? Okay.
Yeah. Malachi Jones.
Okay. Not Picnic?
He could be there, but Picnic's missed a few years. I don't think Malachi's missed since he was like 17.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. Hey, folks, don't forget Restaurant Crawl. Make sure you're there. We've got some great people from the Daily Hour community who are joining us, and I can't wait to hang out with you all. Don't forget to subscribe on our website, dailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. He's Larry Marshall Jr. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We are out. Peace, I think.